This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the positive. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter. Yeah, I want. Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on. He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
That's right, Peter G Show, and what a week it's been. Wednesday, October 11th. How the hell is everybody? If I told you what I went through to be here right now, you might not believe me. But we're all here, and I love it, and I'm grateful, and I'm thankful every single day. And I hope you are too, because if you're watching this show, we're all here. Traffic today. Friggin' hate traffic. I do not like driving in traffic. I'm over it. I'm so friggin' over it. But it's something you have to do. Welcome to California. Or at least Los Angeles, California. Either way, did I tell you how great of a show we are going to have tonight? Now, I'm getting ready to tell you how great of a show we're going to have tonight. Because these past few weeks, been on a lot of current events, a lot of news, all of the above. And I wanted to get back into a few compelling stories and things like that. And, you know, again, I'm all over the map right now because there's so many things I want to talk about. We're getting ready to go into the holidays soon. October is upon us, but come November, December, it's all about family, getting through the holidays, people coping with life. First time without your parents or parent or all these things. This is what I do. Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. But tonight, I've had to literally, this has been a year in the works, but everything happens for a reason. Tonight, we're going to talk about alcoholism and how it can kill you, and it does. And I have alcohol abuse. You know, I'm sure everybody knows somebody who's gone through it, and either you survive it or you don't. It's a bitch. Any kind of addiction's a bitch. We talk about a lot of that stuff. But tonight, I have Miss Poppylong on this show. She's a survivor of alcohol abuse. It just about killed her. And I finally got her on the show because she's now 12 months sober, and she's at a point now where she's ready to talk about this. And she's going to share her story. And that's a big deal because, and she even said it to me, and we'll talk about it some more, but as I pre-interviewed her, she talked about feeling so alone. And I talk about this a lot of talk. See, get it? Talk show, talk about this, talk about that, pop music. She said that she felt so alone going through what she had to go through. And what's our motto here? You're not alone. Everybody feels like it's just them. And it's not. But that's why she's going to come on this show and share her story to tell you it's not just you. It's her. It's people she knows, people you know. And it's going to be pretty good because I know her story now, and we're going to dig into it. And she's willing to share it. So tonight, coming up in a few, Miss Poppylong, alcoholism survivor, on this show. And to look at this woman, again, it's kind of hard to believe because I was telling her about this too. You would think that after getting dragged through the streets, going through hell and back, it would show. But somehow through the graces of God, she's still this like bright shining star. So now she's as bright inside as she is outside, and we're going to share that with you. So that's coming up in just a few minutes. Last week, real quick, I caught so much hell with I was running these bumper ads about the emergency alert system, and we did a show talking about that because everybody had these expectations, the conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff. And all I'm saying is I caught hell. So all these people go, you're being a fear monger and all this kind of baloney. It is baloney because you didn't watch the show. You just watched the 1 minute promos. Let's face it, folks, they're promos. Come watch the show and then we'll really talk about it. Well, I did talk about it. So I don't care. All I can say is for those people who give me hell every week, take a deep breath. Okay. Just chill out. We're all here. But I do talk about a lot of things that I think that are, detrimental to our health, and amongst other things too. So, if you're not watching the whole show, you really need to watch the whole show because there's possibly a different perspective as to what you perceive. But either way, I love you all. Speaking of love, I would love for you, and many, I'm catching hell for this too. They're going, he's constantly saying to subscribe and follow. Yes. Why? Because I can see still there's probably half of you that watch the show every week and won't take 2 minutes to go to YouTube and hit subscribe, won't go to Facebook and hit follow, won't go to Instagram and hit follow, but you'll watch the show. Do me a favor, please. That's all I ask. It's free. Takes a minute and it's free. I'm not asking. I appreciate you watching. I really do. But show your love to show people that there's people watching because I'm scattered all over the place. We're on 11 different video platforms, 24 different podcast platforms, all the above. But it all adds up. And I appreciate you, especially Facebook. Facebook has really blown up a lot. And I love you for that. But I need the ones, the lurkers. I love my lurkers. I got the best lurkers in the world, the coolest lurkers in the world. But I need you to just go hit subscribe or follow on several different wherever you're seeing this from. Because if I get banned from YouTube again, I want you to be able to find me somewhere else. Because again, I'm at their mercy. So just saying, all right? Let's take a drink here. Here's what I want to happen right now. We'll be back in just 2 minutes or a minute. But first, we need to hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver, which makes sense to save you money. So I'll be right back. Check this out, and we're going to get down to business.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the news, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in the oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, folks. CleanStarProducts.com with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver. All I can tell you is they have a product that works. This little bitty bottle, you pour it into a clean oil change, and then every time you fill up your tank, you put one of these little things into your fuel, and it'll save you up to 10% in fuel, cleaner emissions, more horsepower. Let's face it, gas is expensive. It's almost... I think there's some places that's a little over $6 a gallon here in California. It doesn't make sense. It's insane. Cars are expensive. Take care of your body, and your body will take care of you. Same thing with your car. Clean Star Products. They will talk to you. If you have more questions, just go to www.cleanstarproducts.com. Please mention that you saw it on the Peter G Show. They're working on a promo code right now that you can type in and get a nice little discount. Okay. When I say discount, I mean, money saving. Let them know that you saw it on the Peter G Show. And again, I love these guys because they know what I do and they still sponsor me. So who's got it better than me? All right. This is the moment I've been waiting a long time for this. So here's salute. Woo! Smooth. When I tell you that I have been after this story from this woman for quite a while, I can honestly say that I've been after this woman for quite some time to come on and tell her story. And she just needed to go through the process and get prepared to tell her story. And that time is now. So, Poppy, if you can hear me, just shake your head. I want to. Okay. So without further ado, and then we'll get into the deep dive. But from somewhere USA, I want to bring it on to you, ladies and gentlemen, my new friend to the show, and my new friend, Miss Poppy Long. Hey.
Hello, Peter.
I want to thank you for. I'm kind of like pinching myself that we're actually doing this because I really didn't think there was times when it was going to actually happen because we've had a lot of let's do it, let's not do it, that kind of stuff. But I'm really glad you're here.
Well, I'm glad I'm here too. Thank you for having me. And just FYI, that cover photo's gotta go before it's gotta go.
Why is that?
I'll tell you about it later, Peter.
Okay. All right. But we had to start somewhere. I mean, and again, basically from the beginning. So as I've been briefly told everybody, you had a bout with alcohol and you ended up nearly dying. I'm going to do this real quick. And then you managed to survive it. And now you're 12 months sober. But for everybody real quick, why don't you just take a minute and just introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, and just kind of round it up, and then we're going to go into specific questions and go into the details and break it all down. But just give everybody a little something about who you are and what you do, or how you're living right now.
All right. Well, my name's Poppy. I'm 50 years old, and I've been an alcoholic for I'm still an alcoholic. I'll always be an alcoholic. 30 years. I had a terrible, terrible, terrible time of alcohol. I decided to get sober last year, not by choice. It was live or die, so I guess it was by choice. These days, I know we're going to get into that whole story, but these days, I do some investing. My son's grown. He's moved out. I'm getting ready to start a new chapter of my life, which is super, super scary and super amazing all at the same time because I'm sober doing it. So, everything to me is all fresh and new, as if I was like a teenager again, 17, and the world is new and it's your oyster type thing. That's how I feel about pretty much everything in my life. So yes, I'm selling my house. I'm, starting a whole new life basically, from the inside out. I have the respect of my son back, the respect of my friends back. Life is good. My little doggy, but, just a little capture on me. I think, did that answer your question, Peter? You just rolling, but
it did. Here's the thing, because again, I was telling people to look at you. I don't see some, almost dead alcoholic.
Right.
So you said 30 years. It's like, besides being young and, doing things, how did it start? With you to where you just kept on and just didn't want to stop.
Yeah. So I think I had my first drink when I was 19. Lived in Michigan at the time, and we'd always go to Canada, and, well, you're 19, let's go tear it up, and, it was all fun and dandy then, that's what everybody did. So, the word alcoholic wasn't even in my realm. It was, we're having fun, we're partying, I think I truly started drinking a lot when I became of age at 21. That's when I really enjoyed the alcohol, because I'm of age. I can drink, and I don't think, I drank a lot. I partied a lot, and I just, everybody said, you're young, that's what you do. You get into clubs when you're 18. I don't know, when you're supposed to be 21, you just do those things. And, I really don't feel, and I kept drinking throughout. And then I got pregnant at 24. So that really slowed my roll, because thank God I didn't drink when I was pregnant with my son. I didn't really I had a partying, mentality before that, before I got pregnant. And, but once I got pregnant, I thought, oh, that's going to fix me. That's going to, I didn't drink while I was pregnant. So, I don't have a problem, gave birth, yada, yada, lost all the baby weight, all that jazz. And then, I was married at the time. And I just feel like, that the alcohol problem, I believe, really started. I mean, it's always been there, since 19, well, maybe 16. I tried my first wine cooler, but that didn't work out too well. I drank like 2 and was puking in the back of the boat in front of my house. So it was really not something I wanted to do again. I don't want to drink this. This is nasty. And I puked. So, I think the real, when I started having real issues was probably after I got divorced in my mid 20s. I think that's when it started getting really bad. And I found myself drinking a bottle of vodka, a fifth of vodka, every night.
Oof.
Every night I would drink a fifth of vodka. And, I'd wake up with hangovers, and I would, feel like crap. And, I would always find a way. I mean, if his father didn't have my son, I always tried to make every field trip, be the parent team mommy. I played softball, I took all my vitamins, drank my water. If I do all of these things, then this alcohol is not going to get me. I can enjoy drinking, and I could just take care of myself. Right. And I just feel like over the years, it just got progressively worse and worse. And then when you get older, the alcohol absorbs differently in your body. So I'm not the same person I was when I was drinking at 30 that I was at 40, that I was, I didn't reach my 50s in a good way.
Right.
I just feel like the alcohol really just started taking a hold of me. The more stress that came, a divorce, getting remarried again, another divorce, just a lot of trauma in my life that I just didn't deal with, Peter. I had a lot of childhood trauma. I moved very far away from where, I live in Arizona now. So I moved very far away from Michigan to get away from everything, thinking that, this is going to change my life. And, your environment really does change your life. But I just feel like it's just a mixture of everything that really started my alcohol abuse. And it progressively just got worse.
Hang on a second, because I can understand. Wait, let me back it up. Because while you're telling me this story, I'm going, okay, we all partied when we were younger. Everybody, it was a different time. Now, and I try to tell my daughter, it's not the same. Like, everything is so scary nowadays. But regardless, we all partied when we were younger, probably doing it before we should have, and probably doing a lot more than we should have. But you kind of it's still under control, but you kept, when you switched over to vodka and, what'd you say, a fifth a day, a pint, a quart a day?
It was a fifth a day, yeah.
You got to beat that. That's pretty hardcore, because vodka is like, the go-to see-through drink. Because growing up as a musician, I got friends, and we used to call it see-through. Having more see-through, and it's light on the calories, like the whole benefactor of the whole deal that you're looking at. It's not as you got it. But divorce. When you said now, tell me that divorce, I can understand it. Divorce. My whole show started on surviving divorce and single parenting. So you're preaching to the choir, but yet, and I know that it can drive people to drink under the table, which it obviously did with you. But to keep on going and not like either like, okay, I've surpassed that, like I got through it. You kept on going, and so what kept you going?
I mean, I think because of it just stems from childhood. Anybody, I had a horrific childhood. I don't know how in detail I can get. I don't know what I can say, what I can't, but I can say.
You can say what you feel.
What's that, hon?
You can say what you feel.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, molested me at a young age. He passed away when I was 11 years old, but the scars were there. It was at a very young age. He molested me, since I can remember. I don't, know when that started. I just know when it ended. And my mom was physically abusive. She'd beat me, to the point of stitches and broken stuff. And, I came from a very volatile childhood. And I'm not going to get all emotional. I promised myself. And I think that really, when you're called, a dumb, ugly bitch, and you don't matter, and you're fat, and you're ugly, and you're all these horrific things, and you don't matter, and your life is nothing. I gave birth to you, and I'm just going to beat you and use you, and like you're nothing, that no matter, I didn't see a good childhood growing up. How I seen was with my friends in high school, or middle school or wherever. I'd go to their house. I'd go to their parents' house so I could see what love was, so I could see what family was. I didn't know what that was. All I seen was abuse, screaming, yelling, and, heartache. Right. So, I think I carried that through. I don't think I know. I carried that through for decades.
You, wait, let's back it up. When you were a child, were you like an overweight child or something like that?
Oh no, I was skinny as skinny could be. Skinny as skinny could be, but oh no, I was called every name under the book. And when you're a child like that,
I get it.
You're scarred. You have both parents abusing you. Your brothers are your brothers. It's just I was the middle only child. My mother used to dress me up in boy clothes and, cut my fingers, nails black till they would bleed, and, cut my hair really short like a boy, make me wear my brother's clothes, those type things. It was very abusive, and I didn't, I didn't get therapy when I got older, and I needed to. I mean, I was a hot mess. Okay. It was beyond that. And it took me decades and years of just abusing myself. I mean, yeah, I would go to the gym back in the day. I haven't been to the gym in 3 years now, but I hike a lot. That keeps my sanity. Although I haven't hiked in the last couple of days, but it keeps my sanity. And, where were we, Peter G? I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. There's a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
So you divorced and then you remarried again. But again, from after the divorce, how are you handling you said you're a mother that does the field trips? Because I know I was the dad who did all that. But yet you're still maintaining drinking at night, all night until you go to bed. How's that working?
Yeah. I mean, once again, I thought taking my vitamins, drinking my water, doing that, I know that it helped. And, people ask me all the time, like, how in the hell were you a hardcore alcoholic for 30 years? Right. And, not to toot my own horn, but you look pretty good. So, I do contribute some of that to, even though I was hurting myself, I don't think I ever intentionally set out to do what almost happened last summer. I know that I didn't. I don't think I know. I just, the alcohol, you can metabolize it a certain way through certain years of your life, and you could drink the same amount as you get older. Everything changes. Okay. And eventually, no matter who you are, no matter, what race you are, no matter how healthy you are, it's going to get you. And I was always the one, it's not going to get me. Look at me. It will get you one day and you will die. Yeah. And you can't think that you're invincible to the aftermath of what this stuff will do to you. I mean, it's an incredible thing that, people, I still hear them say all the time. And, I'm from Michigan, the land of the drinkers. Let's just put it there. Drinking's everywhere, but Michigan, they really knew how to do it.
I did not know.
We know how to drink and party out in Michigan. So, I still have friends to this day, a few of them that would really love to get help, and a couple of them that have, just because of me. I've had hundreds of people through social media, text, Facebook messages, you name it. People I don't know, strangers, messaging me, telling me that I inspired them to get sober. I had no idea at the time when I started this journey and I put it out on social media. It was more or less to help myself, I think, to get it out there, to be like, wow, okay, I'm doing this and I'm going to share it with everybody and they're going to give me lots of support. All my friends from Michigan and all my friends in Arizona, and I just got this made, but then, I realized the more months that went on, how people just started pouring in with, I stopped drinking because of you. I am so inspired because of your story. You saved my life. And I'm just like overwhelmed with how many people actually have a drinking problem. To your point, when you opened up, you said, you feel like you're alone. And that is true. When I was in my darkest hour, which was last summer, when I almost died, I thought I was alone. There's, this is it. Like nobody could be as bad as me. Nobody can be as bad as me. I'm walking around gray skinned, yellow eyes, believe it or not. I stopped drinking water. I stopped eating. The alcohol had finally taken a hold of me. I didn't leave the house all summer, last summer. My car didn't leave the garage. I didn't leave the house. And I almost died. I was on my floor in my bedroom. And it got to the point over the summer, okay, that, I went to Laguna Beach the first part of the summer and, it was heavy drinking like normal. But when I got back, it was something different. I didn't set out to lock my doors and off myself. I have a beautiful son. He's the love of my life. He's my best friend. He's the reason I am still here. If I didn't love myself enough to save my own life, I sure as hell need to do it for him. And I could not imagine me ruining the rest of my son's life because of this awful disease I have.
A lot of people do.
Yeah. So I found lots of videos on my phone of me being drunk and talking to what I thought was myself. My friends didn't want to be around because they didn't want to watch me die. My son didn't want to watch me die because they all thought I was going to die. They were just waiting for the call. And, when that day came, the first rehab came last August. I went and I was like, okay, I got this. And it had gotten so bad. My vitals were all messed up. I was so gone, but yet I still was reaching out for help because even with that darkest just presence that was over me, and in me. I wanted to live, even with nothing to live for other than that 0.5% that was my son. I was gonna live somehow. And I went to that first rehab, and it did not take. I got home, went straight for a bottle of vodka, and started drinking again. Within 3 weeks. Oh, go
Wait a
ahead.
minute.
Peter.
Hang on one second. I want to back it up because
Okay.
I know because of our talking to you, and I really this was the part about you got divorced from the first time with the man of your son.
Yes.
But you told me a story about that you married somebody who was basically encouraging you to drink.
Right. That was my second marriage.
But the thing is, it's like, okay, so you got married again. That time really picked up your tempo from what you told me. I mean,
Yes.
to where it was physically changing you. I need you to like, that's what got you to
Right.
almost.
Well, this story that is probably what led up to last summer, that what happened. Yes. I got married again, and it was all not for the right reasons. And just, it was a horrible, horrible mess.
How long?
What's that, Peter?
How long were you married for the second time around?
Well, it's technically 2 years, but together for 6.
Okay. You were drinking the whole time?
Yes, but we weren't living together the whole time. We only lived together for maybe that 10 months.
Okay.
He was an awful person. And, when you're an alcoholic and you're in the way that you were, like I was, and, just not in your right mind, not in your right state, you can't make the right decisions. You're just, walking around, and you're not yourself. You're not yourself at all. I made some poor decisions. Like, I knew better than to get involved with somebody I knew was out of their mind. I don't know if I discussed with you what happened. I think I might have.
You did.
Previously. I've never really said this out loud to a bunch of people, like through video. I mean, my close friends know about it. It's a hard pill to swallow when your ex tries to murder you. He antifreezed my food for almost 1 year.
Antifreezed.
Yeah, he used antifreeze and put it, because I was so sick after COVID. Everybody kept saying it was COVID long haulers. But then it just kept going on, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And I went to the hospital multiple times. Every week, the ambulance would be at my house. My organs were shutting down. And, alcohol had a large part to do with it. But there was something going on that was just even beyond that. And, they couldn't figure it out. And long and behold, obviously he's not around anymore. Well, he's around, but not around. He was antifreezing me. I don't know how you word it. I know it's something out of a Lifetime movie or whatever. It's just insanity. But
poisoning you.
He was poisoning me. There we go. And it's a really hard pill to swallow. You think that kind of stuff only happens in the movies or on 2020 or something, and I got so sick. I mean, it was, I lost all my hair at the time. I would stand in my shower and puke I wouldn't even be gagging. It would just run out of my mouth and down my body. And, that's when I kicked him out. He admitted to what he did. And obviously I found the evidence to make it 1,000 times worse. And there was, recording things, and he recorded me in my suite and recorded me. And yes, it was a beyond abusive relationship, I would say. So, I think I attracted these type of people because of the place I was at in my life. I do believe, but, he's out of my life. And, I've moved on. But what I think happened, you know, what I believe happened is after I kicked him out, it took a long time. It took months for me to even go downstairs and use the kitchen or use half of my house because I was just trapped upstairs in my suite all the time, being poisoned and freaking, isolated. Was isolated for almost a year.
Wait, you told me that even though you may have been trying to stop at times, he would leave bottles at your door. Is that?
Yes. So there's a table outside of my, or there was a table outside of my suite and my room, and he would leave, food out there. It would usually be soup because I was so sick. That's really all I could get down. And he would leave me bottles of vodka out there. Yes. But I believe that he was putting it through the cork as well with a needle, as well as my soup because, right. So he was getting it both ways. And, had I not found some of this stuff that he was recording under just a long story, recording devices under my bed, just this crazy insanity, I wouldn't have, I kicked him out after that. And then the symptoms stopped. I started getting better. Basically I just started getting better. But, a couple months after I, kicked him out, I would say maybe it took me a long time to reacclimate because I was literally like a prisoner up here for like a year getting poisoned. So it took me a while to get used to the house and to get used to things. Just like if you were in prison for a year or two or something, it's going to take you a while to get used to the outside world. That's kind of how I felt. And, then that time went, and I think about a year in is when I think it was like, I wouldn't say a delayed reaction. I wouldn't say delayed. I would say it was like, holy crap. I can't believe I'm still alive. Like, I can't believe I'm still here. Why am I still here? And so then I just started really drinking. I'm like really, really drinking.
Really?
And if I thought I drank a lot before, I was just, because it hit me like, why am I alive? Like, because I found that device, because I kicked him out, I wouldn't be here. He had a life insurance policy out on me. Yes, all of it. All that real life 2020 stuff is real, and it's close to home. And I just freaked out, and I was like, you know what? I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I survived him. And oh my God, why am I here? I should be dead. And so I think I drank myself almost to death because I didn't know how to deal with what the hell happened.
Wait, you were so happy that you were getting better that you decided to get worse.
Yeah. I was like, it's just, I can't believe what happened, right? And that I survived it, that I needed to numb myself over how in the hell did that happen? Why am I still here? All because of luck, because I found something under my bed that was recording me, because I found something. That's why I'm here. It's a hard pill to swallow when you literally are on the planet. At the time you think, because I know I'm here for so much more. But at the time I was like, why am I here? What is the purpose of me? And I'm only here by luck. And so it really messed with my head. And that's when I really got bad. I wanted to just numb it. I wanted to, like, this didn't just happen. This can't be like, it was like about a year later, but I think that's how long it took me to really process what the hell happened and really get better from what he did, and also I had COVID at the same time while I'm still drinking. I cut out 10 days when I had the COVID really, really bad. Even an alcoholic can't withstand that. But yeah, I believe that's when I went down last summer. Like we were saying, that's when I really went down. And I just was like, wow, the reality set in of what happened.
Let's talk about when you went down. When you went down, you told me that you really didn't even know you went down and you just wind up in a hospital. Who found you? Who saved you? Who got you to where you were going? How did that work out?
Okay, so the first rehab, one of my girlfriends came and picked me up. Got me there. It was a rehab in Scottsdale over here, and it's supposed to be a real ritzy, nice place. Oh, you're gonna fix me? Okay, great. So I go there, and it wasn't like a rehab at all. Actually, it was like a mental institution. This certain location in Scottsdale, they cut the strings off my hoodie. They took my shoelaces off my shoes. I was going in there for alcohol abuse, not for killing myself. Like I'm trying to hurt myself. Like I need a gurney or something. So, or what do you call it? Not a gurney, but one of those strap suits. What do you call those? Suicide suits,
Straight
the
jacket.
Velcro. But they made me feel like, not like, oh, I'm here to help you. You have a problem. They made me feel like I was an insane person. And it was for people with mental issues that were not just alcoholism, that were, you're going to harm yourself, like you're going to hurt yourself. They doped you up with all these drugs. They didn't give you any kind of help as far as what you really needed, and I went home and drank that same day. I went home and drank. And
they released you. Wait. They released you. Why? They thought you were better?
Well, because at the end of the time that you can be released, because there's a certain time, 5 days.
Okay.
I told them I want to go.
Okay.
And they had to, by law, let me go because they weren't hurt. They weren't helping me.
Right.
Okay. They made me feel worse. So, then 3 weeks later, after that first rehab, because I had started drinking, 3 weeks later, I almost died because what happens is when you're drinking a lot like me, and then you quit for a brief time, like abruptly, like I did, and they had to give me medication for withdrawals so I didn't have seizures and whatever, which I never had at that time. I never had any at that time,
Right.
Or my whole life until I did. That first rehab didn't do anything for me. It was just terrible, Peter. So yeah, I got home, drank myself. 3 weeks later, I was back in rehab at a different one, but it had gotten so bad. That's what I was on that train of thought. It had gotten so bad that, because when you stop, that was my whole train of thought, and I got lost in it, but I found it again. So what happens is when you drink a lot, like I have, and you stopped abruptly, even with withdrawal medications, whatever, that'll prevent you from dying there. But the real problem is when you go back after a short stint of not drinking and you were a heavy, heavy drinker, it's 1,000 times worse the second time. Like I stopped drinking for 5 days. By going back to drinking, it was going to be amplified 10 times fold by going back to drinking.
Really?
So by the 3 weeks is all it took for me to be almost dead. 3 weeks. My girlfriend, Lynn Watson, I've known her for 17 years. She helped me the first time. She came for me the second time. She didn't give up on me. I was on the floor the second time. I couldn't get up. My body gave out. I couldn't get a breath. I was so weak that I couldn't pull myself up off the floor. I had my phone in my hand, thank God, because if I didn't, at the time, I didn't have anybody living with me. I have my roommate now, but he wasn't here then. And so just me and my doggy. And so I had my phone, thank God. And she came, and this facility was way out in Mesa, about 50 minutes from me, and I couldn't even make it there. I got there, but by the time I got there, I was in their lobby at the rehab facility, and I had a seizure in the front lobby, and I've never had a seizure in my life. I had a seizure in the front lobby. All my vitals crashed. The ambulance had to come pick me up from the rehab lobby because I couldn't check in. I was too far gone. So they had to they had to stabilize me at the hospital. I don't know how long I was there. I can't say the exact time. When I was done, it was, a few days to get me just stable enough to go and get rehab and get withdrawal medications and get all that. I had to get stable before I could even go there. So they ended up taking me back there. I ended up staying there 1 week. All my friends bagged me. The facility bagged me. They said, you need to go into a 30-day program. You need to go into a 30-day program. You need to, you can't, it's not in your best interest to go back home because look what happened the first time. And I was done at that point. Not, in my mind, I was like, I'm not going into a 30-day rehab. And I'm not saying that somebody shouldn't. I mean, all for it. If somebody needs to do that, they need to do it. And I had all the pointing signs to me from everyone. She needs to go. And if not 30 days, how about 90? That's how scared they were for me. Because if I was to pick up a drink after this rehab, I wouldn't have lasted 2 days this time. Right. So, long and behold, I denied that. And I went home. My girlfriend dropped me off with her mother that just had hip surgery. She's like 82 years old and she's like this just badass. And she just plowed right through that surgery. But I remember them both picking me up, taking me home, and my girlfriend Lynn asking me, do you want me to come in for a little bit? And I was like, oh, no, I'm good. Something about walking back in that door just triggered it again. Triggered that craving, triggered that. Even if I almost died, I had a seizure. I had to rush to the hospital. I couldn't even get checked into rehab. I still grabbed my car keys and was heading to the liquor store, even after I almost died.
Right.
And I got down on my hands and knees right in my kitchen floor. And I just gave it to God. I gave it to the universe. I said, please take this from me. Please take this from me. I want to live. I don't want to feel this way. I will go do that 30 rehab. I will go do whatever I have to do. I cannot do this. And what really did it for me, Peter, was when I looked around my house and I was like, oh my God, who lives in this house? I'm like OCD neat freak girl. Okay. I had a house cleaner for a long time till I had to get rid of her. Now I clean my own house. But at the time I had a house cleaner and my house still, I didn't recognize it. The laundry was stacked up to the ceiling in the back. It was just 3 months of clothes and it smelled and the whole house was disgusting. It had this energy in it that was just evil and dull and nasty and dark and awful. And I'm like, who lived here? I don't remember anything that happened over the summer. I don't remember letting the house go like that. I don't remember any of it happening. All I know is I was walking in from that second rehab to a house that I didn't recognize and to who did this? Who did this to my house? I have no recollection of the summer at all. Zero. And
wait a minute. Let me ask you a question since we're on this whole, but while you were really drunk, or were you drinking, were you the person that would be drunk and start calling people and just like, not anything good, but just calling people to where people like didn't want to even answer the phone because they knew that you were drunk? And, because that happens a lot, people get buzzed and they go, oh God, I don't want to answer because so-and-so is just out of their mind and I don't want to hear that shit.
I mean, I believe I was probably that person. Yeah. I mean, even though I have a lot of friends that love me, my son that loves me, when you're out of your mind like that,
right,
and they see you out of your mind like that,
a lot,
it's hard for even your closest friends to be able to deal with you. Like, is she going to die? Is she going to get help? If she doesn't want help, how can we help her?
Right.
And it is true. Because I did realize I needed help, because even after those rehabs, it's been over a year now since I've been sober, September 26th, since I've been 1 year. Right. And I still get phone calls from facilities that had nothing to do with the rehabs that were in the last couple years that I don't remember calling. I don't remember talking to them, but they say, do you remember calling us saying that you wanted to get help? Different, multiple, dozens facilities that are still calling me to this day. When I was drunk, wasted, that's who I really called, Peter. I called a lot of people at facilities and don't even remember it because I wanted help even in that state, you know, and it just blows my mind that I don't even remember doing it. Wow. But, yeah, it was a very dark place, you know, and I just remember being on the ground that's after that second rehab. It was on September. Well, no, this was October 3rd because I was already like 1 week. I was 1 week sober. I went into rehab on the 26th, which is why my sober date is 1 year, 26. It was October 3rd when I got home and almost picked up those keys. Well, I did pick up the keys and almost got in the car and got that bottle. And I just got down, like I said, on my hands and knees. And I said, you know, just please, just bawling my eyes out and just pouring my soul straight out to the universe. Please just take this from me. I want to live. And I swear to you, I know some people believe in miracles, some people don't. And maybe some people don't believe in miracles, maybe because they've never had one. They've never experienced a miracle, or maybe they've never witnessed a miracle. But I'm a miracle. I'm a miracle. There's no other explanation to why I've never had another craving again. I don't attend and this is not for me to brag or for me to say that, oh, I don't need any of this, so I must be better than anyone else, or, oh, I'm stronger than anyone else. It's a miracle because I should be glued to an AA chair for the rest of my life 4 times a day to stay sober. Right. I should be, you know, disabled by it and not being able to function without it. And here I am after 30 years of strong abuse and almost dying last year. I have never had a craving again since that day on the floor. I can go to my son's, by the way, my son, the wonderful DJ kid, my love of my life, my best friend. I can go to his shows now. There's alcohol all around. As a matter of fact, Trace, mommy loves you. I know you're going to watch this and be like, oh, did she just say mommy and buddy? I'm going to call you buddy. And lots of people are going to hear this. We're going to a festival tomorrow. There's going to be about 30,000 people there and a lot of drinking. And you know what? It doesn't faze me. And there is nothing short. It doesn't faze me, meaning it doesn't bother me to smell it, to look at it. There's only 3 things I can't do, Peter. I can't kiss it. I can't have it in my house. You got to have rules, right? So meaning I can't date someone that drinks. I can't have it in my house. And I cannot pay for it in any way, shape, or form. Even if I take someone out to dinner or lunch or whatever, the alcohol, even my own son, I won't do it. I'll pay for his food and his meal, but no alcohol. But those are my rules that I live by. They're simple, and this is it. I mean, this is how I live. I did go collect my 1-year chip, though. I did do that because I felt like I earned that 1-year chip. Yes.
Let me ask you about this because you said you didn't start doing the AA, which, believe me, through my lifetime, I've got a lot of friends who've given it up and they depended on those meetings. It's like you're trading one kind of addiction to another to keep you, you know what I mean? Right. It's one to keep you, but you walked away cold turkey, so to speak, in one way or another. But what do you think, besides calling it a miracle, what has kept you from falling backwards again and not calling your name? Because I know how easy that is to do.
Right. You know, not to say, you know, I'll go back to that question right there that you just asked me, but not to say that nobody, you know, the AA was a part of my life back in the day. I have tried to get sober other times. Yes. And I used AA for that. Yes. I was even on an AA softball team, believe it or not, because I used to love softball. But back to your question, though, which was,
How did you manage to just stay from falling backwards? I mean, but look, I still live in this world where, you know, it's easy. It's calling your name. It's
Right.
readily available.
Right.
One little thing, like I'm having a bad day, I'm just going to take a little drink.
Right. And,
How?
you know, that goes back to, I got to go back to the miracle, because I don't have those feelings of I want to have a drink anymore. That is called the cravings that I couldn't run from.
Right.
That always kept me in the hole, that almost killed me. The cravings. What I do, I mean, I don't get them. I don't get them. I do get angry like anybody else. I get frustrated. 1,000 things are coming down on my head since the last year. I mean, loss of income, I'm moving, you know, but a lot of great things too. I get to start new, you know, I get to walk away from this house with a nice chunk of money and buy a new house in cash. I get to pay off my car. I get to buy a rental property and be a landlord for somebody, I get to own properties. This is all the good things that's happened. I have to give up things to start new, and that's okay. You know, I had a lot of frustration in this last year, everything from fraud to identity theft to freaking your income to you got to sell your house and move. What else, man? I mean, come on. It's just pretty hardcore stuff. But you know what? I get aggravated. I get like, you know, where you get that boiling underneath your skin, like, oh my God, just cut me a break. And then you'd go grab the bottle. Typically, that's what you do, right? You go drink because you're like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want to deal with this crap. So, you know, I found that, and this is, you know, just saying like it is, I found that when that really boiling comes under me, like comes inside of me, it's like, you're just like, you know, I don't call it, I think it's a mental thing with me. Most people revert to, okay, I'm having a craving. So, you know, maybe it could be that, but I never put that in my head. I just put it as, I'm feeling very annoyed right now. My temper, I can feel it boiling. I'm feeling very agitated. And what the hell am I going to do about it? I don't ever use the word cravings, because I think if you mentally put that in your mind, then it's going to become real. And then you're going to have to go get that drink. And it really just hit me just saying that to you, Peter. Just now, it just hit me how true that really is. And I didn't even realize that. Instead, I go hike. I get on the mountain. I go for a walk. I get on my yoga mat. I breathe. I do whatever it is I have to do to not feel that way. And I hope a lot of people, you know, if I'm around somebody when this happens, you know, I just have to walk away. I have to, you know, it's easier said than done when as someone would call it a craving, I call it, I'm so annoyed and I'm irritated to a really bad point. You have to find a way to, whether it's reading a book or watching a show or, you know, whatever it is, you have to get that out somehow. You have to get it out somehow. And, you know, it's not screaming and yelling at everybody. I mean, sometimes that does work and I do it. I will admit, I'm not going to lie and say I haven't lost my shit, because I have. But, you know, really exercise and a keto diet. I'm not on keto, but I was the first 2 months of my sobriety, because it keeps you from having cravings. A keto diet, low sugar and low carbs, keeps you from craving alcohol. And that is a proven fact, because I'm proving that. And I'm not keto. However, I don't do a lot of carbs. I don't do a lot of sugar. And I believe having that type of diet will help you in your recovery. I'm 100% positive about it. Cut out the carbs, cut out the sugar. You can eat high fat. You can eat high calories. I mean, I lost 40 pounds. I haven't gained any of it back, you know. Eat high fat, you know, just don't eat the carbs, don't eat the sugars, and, you know, exercise. It doesn't matter if it's a walk around the block, it's a raw, you know, you got to physically start moving. Just not hiking the last 4 days. I can feel it inside. I feel that little, you know, getting at you like, oh, I'm getting annoyed. Like I can feel it inside of me. It's so important. I'm going to go tear up that mountain in the morning. but it's so important for exercise and diet when you're in recovery.
Okay, but that's a lot of discipline. And I think discipline is the key, but it's also the hardest thing. Let's get into mentally, because again, when I introduced you to earlier, I said to look at this woman, you don't look like you've been to hell and back. I mean, you just don't.
Oh, thank you.
But you have been from now. I'm
Right.
finding out from childhood and things like that. How does Poppy overcome? Let me ask you a question. If you were to get into a relationship, does the past still influence how you interact in a relationship? Is it hindering if you were to be in a relationship, or do you think that you've managed to figure out how to let that part go to live? Because you told me you're a different person now in a year. So
Right.
how's that working?
Well, there is a reason I believe AA probably tells you to wait a year to get involved with anybody. I really, really believe there's a reason for that. I know at 6 months I got involved with somebody. When I was 6 months sober, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to date. Let's go. I'm fixed. I'm ready to go date,
Yeah,
go have some fun.
I had to talk about that this afternoon.
Yeah, I need some love. Like, damn, I've earned it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's find a man. So,
Yeah.
so I ended up dating somebody for a couple months, and of course, he wasn't. I'm not going to rag on him on live TV or whatever, but he wasn't for me. He was so far from me that, let's just say, I wasn't ready at 6 months to make that kind of decisions about a man. And that's what made my deciding factor that I wasn't ready to start dating, because 6 months now later, a year and some change sober now, I would have never dated that man in a million years.
But it's the AA codependency thing too. Because I had lunch with somebody today, and we were just talking the exact same thing. Because again, I associate with people who've been through the ringer, in the music world, and still live to tell about it. And we were having the exact same conversation about going to the AA meetings and hooking up with somebody, because it's like you have something in common, and you just feel like at the time you feel bond,
right?
But it's not right.
Well, he actually told me that he got, this is how bad it was. I shouldn't have dated after that, but then I'm like, okay, it was just a loose cannon again. But he literally went as far as to say that he is sober because of me, and that we were going on this sober journey together, and come to find out, none of that was true.
He was on a journey. It was part of a journey, but it wasn't the sober part.
And so, I made a really bad decision in that. But honestly, like I say, I'm ready now. I'm ready now, a year in, just that 6 months. I'm constantly changing every month, Peter. I'm like, oh my God, like I wake up a new person every month. I'm like, life never gets boring, because I'm like a new version of myself. I'm like 17, seeing everything new for the first time. All the places I've been before, I'm just too drunk to remember. So, it's new to me, and everything, relationships with friends, with people, with, whatever, everything's different. Like everything's changed. Like all these wonderful people are coming into my life now that I'd never have in my life now if I was still drinking. The friends that stayed with me, they're still here today, but I've lost some friends. I'm not gonna lie,
That's okay. Shit happens, but your true friends will, the fact that you're still here to talk about it, it means a lot. But the old AA has more advantages. I mean, the hooking up in AA is like, hey, let's hang out together.
I'm not going to dog on AA. It's not for everyone, but I've done it in the past, just like you. But honestly, if you're going to chain smoke 3 packs of cigarettes after during your breaks, I'm pretty sure that's going to get you too.
You're trading. Look, I've never done AA, but I've been around people. Okay, because again, I thank God every day that I didn't have the addictive. Like, I don't mind alcohol, but I could never. I don't love alcohol. That's why it blows my mind how when you tell me that you could drink vodka, because to me it's like after a shot or two of anything, it wants to come back up on me, and I thank God every day for that. But I've been around, again, being a musician. It's been in my culture. and I know everybody, and the ones who are still alive.
Right.
We had a conversation today. I went to lunch with somebody who, believe me, they lived as big a rock star lifestyle as you possibly could. And we talked exactly about this, and we said, but we're still here, and so that means a lot.
It's going to catch up to everyone. No one is invincible.
Well, true, but some people do see the light at a certain point, and some things are reversible or sustainable.
Right.
And, you're living proof of it.
Right.
But
at 49, those cells are regenerating, baby.
Well, but to look at, but I do have the people, as I told you, that they look like they've been to hell and back, and they're still alive, but it has taken a toll. And the ones that, and a lot of them didn't make it, but you're here. I just wanted to know mentally, is your brain catching up with, to where you can function without letting the past be a burden, I guess.
Right. And, that's a really, really good question. I never did the 12 steps. And in those 12 steps, though, I do like to go and look at the 12 steps, even though I'm not in AA, because those are a large part to deal with your healing and in the past things and so forth. So I never did. I did look at my 12 steps as I went through every month, but I think I kind of got over it at like month 9. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go at my own pace. And obviously I feel like I'm speed timing right through all of it. And, as far as the past goes, I feel like I needed this full year to really wrap my head around life, like me growing up, me abusing myself for 30 years the way I did, all the abuse that happened before those 30 years. And, people tell me, you should go get therapy, you should go talk to someone, and that's true. Everybody could use some therapy, but I still haven't done that. And I think I'm doing pretty well. If I ever felt like I needed it, I probably will. One day I probably will. There's nothing wrong with talking to a stranger about your life. Look at me, I'm talking to you. But
just you and me. There's nobody listening.
Yeah. So basically, I did reach out to, it's so funny you asked that. I did reach out to my mother and to one of my brothers, which we've lost contact the last 5 years. I had, came from a very toxic environment. So I kind of just left it there. And I did reach out recently. I wanted to make sure I was a year sober, and so I could deal with what I was saying to them. I sent a couple texts, but I never heard any response from either one of them, my mother or one of my brothers. And that's fine.
Are they still
that's
alive?
Fine. I'm not broken about it, but I'm not calling to apologize to them.
Right.
I'm calling to let them know, or texting them to let them know how great I'm doing, how amazing I'm doing in life. Yeah. It wasn't to give them an apology. It was to get one. Maybe.
You're sure that your mother and your brother are still alive?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
I have an older brother, a younger brother, and my mother is. And, I've tried to make peace with them. I've tried to contact them. I've even seen them when I went back to Michigan and, didn't work out so well. I ended up getting a fight with my brother, got, pushed and, hurt. And, they all tell me to go back home. I don't belong here. I'm just some rich bitch that doesn't belong here. I don't fit in anymore. I'm just, it's, it went from all that name calling when you're young to, oh, now I'm older. I'm past my, now I'm something else. Right.
It's sad, but I think
it's very sad, but
and
yet
it's very hurtful. That's why I'm saying it's like, that's your blood and the dreams of like, why not? But
well, and I'm sure they might see this. I mean, my mom's not on my social media or my little brother, but they do have my son on their social media. So I'm sure they're going to see this at some point. And
regardless, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Right. And when they do see this, I just want them to know, I'm always going to love you because you gave birth to me and you guys are my family. But my friends out here they're more of my family and my son than they will ever be. So I don't hate anymore. I don't hold any kind of resentment. Forgiveness is, people say you have to forgive to move on. And that may be true, but I still feel like there's going to always be a part of me that's just not going to be able to forgive any of that. And that's just me being real.
No, and that's okay, because I've done shows, and then believe me, I had a woman from Canada, and she had a narcissistic mother, and the abuse, and people are like, "That's your mother," and it's like, that wasn't her fault. Sometimes,
Right.
no matter who it is, you can't fix that.
Right.
And it's sad but
Right.
true. But it's not your fault, but don't just because she gave birth to you doesn't mean that you have to love them. Unfortunately, it's sad, but it does happen.
Yeah, it's very hard, but I have good friends, and I have my son, and he's going to have a, baby one day. And, I just,
You won't be that person. You'll be the right person. Okay.
yeah.
Look,
And the fact that I didn't carry on the abuse to my son is another big deal. That's a vicious cycle.
that
It's
is
a
a big
vicious cycle of abuse, and it usually carries on. And, I had to be the one to stop it, because I mean, I couldn't hurt my son. I hurt him enough by my drinking, for sure, but to physically touch that boy the way I've been abused, I just can't imagine it. So, breaking the cycle is so important, whether it's alcohol or physical abuse or emotional abuse and mental abuse. Breaking that cycle is just one step of, just their generation, my son having a baby, not being abusive, it just goes on and on and on, it's,
You're right.
And when you say, do I, break the past, or how do I think about the past? I don't use it as my crutch anymore. I don't drink myself to death like poor me, poor victim Poppy. Not saying that bad shit didn't happen, because it surely did, but I played the victim role really well when I was drinking.
Yeah.
Did it happen? Was I a victim? Yes, but it consumed me. And there has to be a time, even if you don't have an alcohol problem, maybe you have an eating problem. Maybe you have some type of problem that you're addicted to because you feel like you're a victim. And you probably are, but you have to find a way to get out of that victim status, whether it's stop drinking, stop eating what you're not supposed to be eating. That's, whatever it is, there is a way to heal. There is a way to move forward. There is a way to live. And it's not going to be easy. I mean, it's not going to be easy. And the people that have made it through, like me, I mean, I'm so happy for them. And I'm, I don't want to cry, but
It's
I'm
okay.
so happy that there's so many people that can survive and can live, and that I have helped just personally with my story. And I'm so happy to have the respect of my son back. I'm so happy to have my friends back that stayed with me. And I'm very happy to be alive. I have so much ahead of me. There's so much in my future. And I just live to live. And I'm going to be doing so many more of these podcasts and motivational things. And, I just want to help so many people. And I just, for anybody, there's not one person, Peter, that I have told my story to that has not told me, I know one person, I know 5 people, my mother, my brother, my sister, that doesn't have an alcohol problem. Not one person, that doesn't know someone that died from it.
Everybody.
Okay. And so I should be here. And that's what I have to say today. I should be here. No longer, why am I here? Like my mentality, like I had in the past, like, why am I here? Why wouldn't I be here? I need to be here. I'm supposed to be here to share this story and to help other people survive and to let them know they're not alone. That you'll never be alone. There's always, even if you feel like you don't have any friends left, you shoot them all away, you don't have anybody, there will always be some help. There will always be some help and people that care. Okay. They may not know me, but just by watching this, I'm telling them that there will always be some help. And I'm here today because I wanted to live. I wanted to live. And even if I couldn't live for myself, I lived for my son. And that's why I'm here.
Some people missed the boat, though. They did. They missed
Yes.
the boat. My thing was, my question was, because after so much damage, when it's instilled in you, bearing the like anybody dealing with you in the future, because I've lived it myself with like dealing with people who you're bearing the cross for the past. And that's what I think is like, how do you overcome not letting the past ruin your future, and how did you get there? And that's pretty much, I mean, you seem to be on the right path, but it's hard. It's hard. And I got people that I know that they're going, oh my God, so and so's calling me. I know he's all messed up and I ain't answering the phone. I've had it. I'm sick of it. Well, you know, and then they die.
There's a lot of ways that you can move forward. And, you know, I feel like who you surround yourself with is super important. You know, they say misery loves company, right?
That's easier said than done, though. When you're in that state of mind, you don't know any better.
Right. When I was drinking, when I was a total drunk, I surrounded myself with people that I had no business being around.
Of course.
Misery loves company.
Sure.
And if you're, you know, to change your past, to change, you know, not to move forward is what you're asking me, right? You have to get to the root of your problems. You have to, whether it's through a therapist, whether it's through somebody that's a good friend that can talk to you every day, or however you're going to figure out how to get through, you have to get through what is caused your immense, just overwhelming, you know, hurtful, destructive patterns and behaviors. You have to get to the root cause of it. And then once you're at the root cause, that's just the very tip of the very beginning. You have a whole thing to get through.
It's forever.
Right. It's forever. And I'm going to be a work in progress, just like everybody else, the rest of my life. You know, I'm so glad that alcohol is not a part of it anymore. But like I said, every day I wake up is a new day. And when I say new, I'm not talking like a regular new day. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like not the same person I was last night when I went to bed. You know, I can only imagine a year from now how incredible I'm going to be.
Well, perhaps in a year from now, we'll find out how you are, because unfortunately, you're going to be one of my long shows. But I just felt that it needs, you know, the things you're saying need to be heard. It's been a while. I did something like this with somebody else back earlier in the year, and it's a constant reminder that this is going on every day, all around everybody, and most people don't make it. But you happen to be one of the survivors, and I just wanted to be able to share your story with everybody. And
I really appreciate you so much, and thank you for having me on your show. And I know it took a lot to get here, and I'm so glad we waited to my year, because I mean, I'd love to be on it again in another year. And I just really hope that this message reaches a lot of people, and that you know, just keep doing and fighting the good fight.
Everything happens for a reason. I've grown to believe that more than ever since now that I'm getting older. I used to not care, and like life was just pretty good. But as you get older, a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of things, you know, leave your life. And again, you're here, I'm here, we're all here. And the fact that we are here, I just saw something. I said, I want this girl's story. And thank you for taking that. So let's get one last big look. Let me get there. Where are you? Right. Oops, that's me. They didn't want to see me. One last big look at Miss Poppylong, and thank you for being and opening up. And let's see, what does your shirt say? Since I know you're asking about your shirt. It says, wait, you're pulling on it.
Wait.
Slow down.
Gotta get the shirt in here, you guys. All right.
Yeah, wait, I can't.
Wait, my braids are in the way. Here we go.
Be a badass with a good ass. All right.
That's right. I try and strive every day for one.
All right. Well, nobody's gonna complain. It's like I will.
Thank you.
I love that new phrase. We'll be a badass with a good ass. I'll try to take that into heart, and I don't know if I could do that, but you know, I guess you can, no problem. So again, thank you for your time. And we'll be in touch, and we'll check on your progress, but hang in there. And again, I just guess, you know, thank the universe, God, whatever you want to do. But you know, this conversation might not have been ever if you had not seen that light that turned you around. So all I can say is you're here for a reason. So
that's right, Peter. Thank you so much for having me.
Wave
I
goodbye
adore
to all my people. There you go. I love you. Thank you. There we go. Hang on. Woo. See? Looks are deceiving. If you see her walking down the street, pretty normal looking. Or more. She doesn't look like she's out on the streets. No signs visibly, kind of like, what the hell happened to you? But a lot happened to her. And it happens to a lot of people all the time. And I'm just really glad because, believe me, like I said, I follow Facebook. Facebook started this whole thing. I watch people showing me what they eat for the day. Whose parent died. Who's going to surgery, prayers. And I saw her. Couldn't miss her. Easy on the eyes. And I just kept watching. Because, it's typical. Good-looking girls and a million guys and all that. But I knew there was something going on. Because that's what I do. It's my job. Hi, I'm Peter. Welcome to my show. And I kept watching from afar. And then finally I started chiming in. I go, I something's going on. I want to dig a little deeper. And she was kind enough to respond. But it took a long time. And then I saw things going awry on top of that, and I'm going, there's no way. I'm going to lose her. She's not going to respond to me because she's, why mess with me and want to talk about this stuff? And then she had that turnaround. It took me a year, but here she is. And again, she's just given the gift that keeps on giving. I hope. For some of you. Not all of you. You don't need it, but it's a great story. And you may not know somebody, you may not need it personally, but if you in your head care about somebody who's going through all this crap, you'll go, you need to sit down and you need to watch this because you'll be dead if you don't. And that's the truth. But and you can't win them all. And it's sad and it kills me because I love my friends and I love people, but not everybody makes it through. But she did. So I brought her on to shine. So I thank Miss Poppy Long for coming on to the show. I want to remind you, next week's going to be, we're gonna hit some topics again next week. I'm finishing up current events and things like that as we go into the holidays, November and things. But I do want to keep staying on some current events. So you get me next week, and plus I want to hear all the people. I'm kind of starting to like the people that say you're a friggin' idiot. But yet they're watching me. So take me as I am. I love you all. But I want to thank everybody for watching Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast, God willing. Right here. And please subscribe to whatever you're watching. Help us stay relevant. And I know it takes a lot of dedication to watch this show because it's an hour-plus show, especially this show, but it was worth it. If you're too busy, Google Peter G Show podcast. Put an earbud in your ear. 24 different platforms, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just listen to the audio version of this show. It's the next best thing to being here. I love when you can take time to watch, but I truly understand. Life is busy. I get it. Totally get it. But again, the fact that you're putting in the effort, I love you all. And please keep on sharing, follow, and subscribe. That's all I ask. And I'll keep on bringing you as much as I can and growing to bring you more than what I've ever even dreamed of. And that's going to happen. We're working there. Again, next week. We'll see you next week. And I don't even know what I have prepared for next week. Normally I do, but I don't because I was leaving it kind of up in the air. I was thankful enough to get Poppy on for this week. So let's just take it one day at a time. And I want to remind you, life is a bitch. It really is. And I advise you to please, when life is getting a little bit tough, to please just take a deep breath before you speak. Think about what you're going to say before you bark. Take it from me. I know. Still learning, but be kind. You don't have to be an ass, but you don't have to take a bunch of crap from people either. Life is too damn short, but we're all here. So let's please all stick together, love. This year, especially, I say it more than anything, love is the key. All right? My name is Peter G. You're watching Life with Peter G, The Peter G Show. As always, I love you guys. Peace out.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, Divorce Dad.